Hello fellow business investors, I'm Jacob Chi, your host, and today we'll be taking a look at the new business idea, the Savannah BioDome. Now the question is, will this idea become a success? For this reason, we go to the head scientist of this project, Dr. Jacob Chi. Hello Jacob, it's great to be here. So Jacob, can you give us more insight on this project? Absolutely. So in this project, we're going to take an ecosystem and put in a large structure, greenhouse-like structure, or like similar to that. And we are going to control the internal environment to allow animals and other plants to act in similar to their region. This will allow people to interact and observe them in ways they have never before. And so the ecosystem we are trying to recreate is the African grasslands, or typically known as the African savanna. Basically, we're going to have four animals. We're going to have the lion, the hyena. They're going to be the carnivores of the system. They're going to be the ones eating the other two animals, the primary consumers. They are the zebra and wildebeest. They're going to be eating the grass. We're also going to have three major species of vegetation. The grass itself, the baobab tree, the whistling thorn tree, and the African gum tree. And so basically they're all going to be interacting together in a variety of different ways. The lion is going to be hunting down the zebra and wildebeest. At the same time, the hyena is going to work together in its own pack to hunt down and take down prey or scavenge. And so that's basically what we're going to see in the biodome. All these animals working together or working against each other for survival. So basically, you're taking a piece of Africa and putting it in America in a glass dome where we can observe and interact with it. Indeed, indeed. So what you're saying is a biome or ecosystem is basically a habitat? Exactly. But wouldn't people rather go to the zoo instead? I mean, we see zebras and zoos in their natural habitat. Am I right? Well, Jacob, this project is completely different from the zoo. The zoo is nothing like the true ecosystem where the animals come from that we in the biodome are trying to display. So therefore, it's hard to compare the zoo to the biodome. In the zoo, you don't get to see the miracles and behavior of animals in their true natural form. You don't get to see the uncensored reality that animals eat other animals. We see nothing of that in the zoo. All we see are lazy animals sleeping, being fed, and taken care for. It's pathetic. But in the biodome, we will see animals in their true behavior. There are no feeding times in the biodome at all. Animals are going to hunt for each other and for food. This project will be 1,000 times better than the zoo, I can guarantee it. I see. But what exactly in this project will we see that differs it from the zoo? Well, as I mentioned earlier, we'll be able to see animals in action. You'll be able to see how they behave in the real world. You also get to see the energy flow and... Sorry to interrupt, but what do you mean by energy flow? Well, in every ecosystem, there's a flow of energy starting from the sun. Energy transfers when an animal is eaten by another animal or a plant is eaten by an animal. For example, when a cow eats grass, the energy from the grass goes to the cow. Each time there's a transfer, a portion of energy is lost through metabolic heat, which is basically means the organism uses the energy for its own personal use. I see. In each different level, the energy is called a trophic level. So the grass would be trophic level 1, and the cow would be trophic level 2. Yes, I'm glad you understand. So, anyway, in the biome we will be able to see the flow of energy through all the animals presented. So what kind of animals will we see in this savanna biome? Hyenas, zebras, and wildebeests. You will also see a variety of vegetation you may have never heard of, such as the Senegal gum acacia tree, the whistling thorn tree, and the baobab tree. Now, from my own knowledge, I understand that wildebeest and zebras, they live in herds, but we don't want to see tons of herds of wildebeest and zebras. Why not just remove them? I mean, they're just a nuisance. Well, Jacob, science doesn't work like that. You can't just remove an entire trophic level without disrupting the entire ecosystem. If we got rid of most of the zebras and wildebeest, the biodome would be disrupted completely. The lions and hyenas, they'd run out of food in a matter of days, and then they'd die out, and our biodome becomes a greenhouse because there are no animals, only plants. We all are connected as living things. We rely on other organisms for food and sustenance, and we need them for our nutrients. We also rely on plants for oxygen because of cellular respiration. And they, at the same time, all the animals rely on us, and plants rely on us as well, as they need the carbon dioxide. Animals and humans in general they need carbon dioxide for their photosynthesis. Because of this delicate relationship, we can't remove any trophic levels. I see, but how about getting rid of those boring plants then? The lions and hyenas would have enough to eat, as we didn't get rid of the zebras and the wildebeest. Like I said before, Jacob, removing a trophic level causes drastic change to the ecosystem. The zebra and wildebeest would have no food like the lions and hyenas in the previous scenario. They would die out in a few days, and after the zebras and wildebeest die out, the lions and hyenas will die out as well. It's not a very good idea to remove the plants. Okay. That makes sense now. But why was African savanna chosen over other biomes? Well, the animals in this biome are one of the most well-known in the world. And so, from this publicity, we figured that the savanna would be a much greater choice than lame tundra or wetland. No, people can easily recognize the lion and the zebra. The animals from the tundra and wetlands, not so much. Alright, so what are some factors to this environment? Like, how will things the humans do affect it? Alright, so one of the major factors we're going to add to this dome is sunlight. In the African savanna, it's very close to the equator and is very, very hot. So we're going to redesign the glass of the dome to magnify the sunlight. And the sunlight is a great abiotic factor. An abiotic factor is basically a non-living factor of an ecosystem. So anyway, this factor, the sunlight, it is a drastic factor for the African savanna. The sunlight causes heat and temperature to rise, and when the temperature rises, the water is usually dries up. That's why water is a limited supply in the African savanna during certain seasons. And so we're going to design the biome dome to have the water disperse and relinquish depending on the time of season it is. And so those are two major abiotic factors of the savanna biodome. I understand. Well, thank you, Jacob, for coming. I found this a very interesting business idea. I'll be sure to be one of the first to visit the biodome once it's set up. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Alright. Thank you for watching our program tonight. I'm Jacob Chi, and thank you for watching. Have a good night, America.
Alright, so the energy first starts out in the sun. Energy then goes from the sun into the African savanna plants, who use the sunlight for photosynthesis. This energy then transfers to either the zebra or the wildebeest in this case, as they both eat plantations and vegetation. So as the energy transfers from the zebra into the wildebeest, some of the energy is lost. And then after the energy is transferred to the wildebeest or zebra, the hyena or lion eats the zebra or the wildebeest. Once again, after the energy transfer occurs, some of the energy is lost through metabolic heat. Now, if one level of the trophic level was destroyed, such as, let's say, the zebra, then there would be no transfer from the wildebeest to the grizzlebugs. Let me show you. If this was destroyed, and the zebra was destroyed as well, there would be nothing connecting the energy from the sun to the top predators. Therefore, these would die and leaving just the plant.